So now we want to add an intro screen, and yeah, when we play our game, it just like starts playing right away, right? And so we want to add like a screen where it says like Pong or something, like click here, something along those lines, right? And then when the player clicks on the screen, then the game should start going, right? So, so yeah, how do we do that? Well, what we need is like another loop. So this is the gameplay loop, and we also are going to have an intro loop. So it's going to look something like this, like while intro is equal to true, we're going to do this stuff, right? And in the beginning, we're going to set intro equal to true. So we have play is equal to intro is equal to true. So yeah, so then it's going to drop into this play loop, this intro loop. We definitely need to check if the red button in the top left corner is pressed, so that's what that's there for. And then what else do we need to do? We need to fill the screen white, I think, and flip, right? So we're going to copy this, put it right over here, and I'm going to hold down Alt, and yeah, I'm going to hold down Alt, and I'm going to do this. Okay, and then yeah, we don't want to blit the ball on the paddle or anything like that. Let's just like blit white and then flip, right? So what this is going to do is it's going to infinitely play the beginning screen, right, which is going to be all white. So I'm going to play that, and we get this, right? So it doesn't matter if I click, it's not going to end because I haven't programmed that in yet. And if I hit the red button though, it's going to stop, right? Because this is going to happen. And yeah, I got some notes over here. Yeah, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to check if they clicked on the screen, and if they did click on the screen, we want to exit this loop, and then it will drop into the play loop, right? So then how do we do that? We say if event type is equal to pygame dot mouse button down, this one here, or pygame dot key dot get pressed bracket, and we say pygame dot k underscore return. Then what are we going to do? Oh, k underscore return is not equal to 0. Then what are we going to do? We are going to set intro to false. Okay. So then what is this condition here saying? It's saying like if I click on the screen or I hit the return button, right? Because if I hit the return button, then this here is going to return the value of 1, and this is not going to be true. But if I didn't hit the return button, then this is going to return 0, and yeah, and then this is not going to be true. Yeah. Okay. So then basically it's going to set intro equal to false, which means after blitz white, it's going to come back up, check this while loop, that's false. So then it's going to go to the bottom of the while loop and continue execution, which drops you right into the play loop, right? So let's go ahead and play that. And we have this going on, and I am going to click, and it starts playing the game. Okay, so what are we missing here? We're missing like font to be here, right? We're missing the title saying Pong, and we're missing the bottom at the font at the bottom saying click here to start. So how are we going to get that? Well, we have to create a font. I guess it's an object, so we say game font.sys font, and I'm going to say in here Britannic bold. This is the font type. You can change that, but I'm not sure which fonts are available in Pygame. And then the second argument is the size of the font. Okay, so I set it to 150. And now that we have the font, we can create our font surface. Okay, so we say title is equal to font.render. And then here's what I'm going to put inside, what that's going to be generated on the surface that's being created. I'm going to say 1, and then I'm going to say 0, 0, I believe is how it goes. Oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, so then this argument here, I'm not sure what it is, but you can look it up, right? Just look up under Pygame font render, and then you can check out what that second argument is. But this third argument is RGB color. So this is like the color of the font, this text written on the surface that is being returned by this font.render. So what's happening here is like, okay, we're using this Britannic bold, right, because we're saying font.render, and what render does is it returns a surface, okay, and the surface is going to be just big enough to write this text at this font size. So it's going to be like a square or rectangle surface, and then render is going to print this onto that surface using this font type and this font size and this font color. Okay, and then it's going to return that surface, and it's going to save that here in title. And so like these colors here, we should actually just be using like global variables. So I'm going to come up here. I have white already set up, and I'm going to say black is equal to, and if you look up the RGB for black, it's 0, 0, 0. So I'm going to save that, and then right here I could say black is my global variable, and then what am I doing? Okay, so then right up here I'm going to say black. Okay, so I have my surface, but now I need to get its rect, right? So then I could say title underscore rect is equal to title, the surface that has pong on it, dot get underscore rect. So that is going to get the rect that describes this surface. Okay, and so when you get rect on a surface that you haven't like on a surface, right? If you ever get rect on a surface, then its x and y position are defaulted to 0, 0. Okay, so the rect that's being returned by this call here is x position is going to be 0, y position is going to be 0, meaning the top left corner of that surface is in the top left corner of the screen, but the height and width are set on this rect, right? So then it like figures out how wide this surface is, it figures out how tall the surface is, and the height and width is set on this rect. So that's what this title underscore rect contains. It contains a rect whose x is 0, y is 0, and its height and width are the height and width of the surface containing the text pong. Okay, great. So our x and y are set to 0 and 0, so we need to change that, right? So we got to say title underscore rect is equal to title underscore rect dot move, and we are going to move it win underscore width divided by 2 minus, well, let's just say win underscore 2, and then win underscore h divided by 2. So now this brings up the question, what does move do? Well, move takes this rect's x position and adds this value to it, and then it takes this rect's y position and it adds this value to it. So since this rect is at 0, 0, adding this to it and this to it sets the x position to the center of the screen and the y position to the center of the screen, right? And this move returns the rect with those adjustments, right? So after you return that rect with those adjustments made, now title rect is equal to the rect with those adjustments being made. So yeah, you can't just run this on its own, because that doesn't affect title underscore rect. It doesn't affect this rect, right? It just like takes this xy position and like it adds these values to it, and it returns the like affected, like the modified rect, but it doesn't actually affect this rect. So we need to say title underscore rect is equal to this expression. Okay, yeah, but then if we do this, that means the top left corner of this font surface here is going to be in the center of the screen, which means that this font here is not going to be in the center of the screen. The top left corner is going to be in the center of the screen. So what we need to do is we need to subtract the width of the rect, right? So we say title underscore rect dot width divided by 2, right? And then over here we're going to subtract title underscore rect dot height divided by 2. So since we subtracted half of the width and half of the height of the rect, now it is dead center in the screen regardless of the size of this surface here. Okay, So we set that all up, and now all we need to do is blit him onto the screen. So let me come on down here and copy this screen.blit and paste it right up here. And you want to remember that blit takes an image as the first argument and its corresponding rect as the second argument. We look at the set of variables that we just made, and the surface is here in title. So I'm going to copy that and paste it right here. And then I'm going to take the rect and I am going to paste him right here, and we should see it dead center in the screen. Yes, dead center, right? So we got our title going.